Welcome back to a program that is entitled When My Father and Mother Forsakes Me. I'm Chris Folsom, and this is William Hemmons. I hope this is this is the second segment of today's show, and I hope that you joined us for the first segment and going to stay with us. We talked about in the last segment children's awareness, or taking care of our children. We touched on what we can do as parents and family members and neighborhood folks to be on, to kind of coordinate doing teamwork around the bus stops. Statistically, 95% of all child molestation can be prevented, and we talked a few steps about what can help those things happen. And we're going to be talking about peer pressure and bullying, but I do want to thank the Jamison Inn and General Manager Abigail Cotter for allowing us to use the facility that we might be able to tape this morning or on this day. And they have a philosophy that they're ready for company at the Jamison Inn. And right now they want you to know that if you bring in any coupon, a written special, written price, they'll match it or beat it here at the Jamison Inn at exit I-95 and exit 3. The address is 105 May Creek Boulevard, Kingsland. Phone number is 729-9600, and the general manager is Abigail Cotter. William, peer pressure and bullying, what is probably the most misunderstood thing about peer pressure and bullying?
Well, many people don't realize just how powerful peer pressure is. And, and especially when you have kids, when they reach certain teenage years and dealing with hormones, how devastating that may be. And we now live in society where usually one or both parents are working. The average child comes from a home where there has been divorce or single parent households. If I may share a quick story about last week, a week or two ago, there was this young girl. It was in a middle school, and she was dressed in Gothic dress, the black and the multiple ear piercings and the black lipstick, and she was being teased and picked on by the students. And she made the comment, she told the students, I hate Jesus. And the kids were taunting her and calling her the devil and Satan and everything, and somebody had threw a paper cross on her table, and she took it and threw it on the ground. And so I came in, and I talked to the whole class. And I said, well, and bear with me in what I'm saying here. I said, I don't blame her. And what it was is that what she's saying is that if this is what Jesus is to you, and you're treating me this way, and she's a young child, she's saying, like, I hate what you're doing to me. And so I talked with the class, and I said, how many of you are planning on going to college? All of them raised their hand. I said, I promise you, when you go to college, you're going to be different too. And how many of you like to be picked on and bullied? Everybody has their right to individual dress and their own individuality. And just because, you don't never know what a person is dealing with, because basically you can kind of tell as far as like, well, hey, there's something going on in the home. And the thing that really touched me was that when she left out of class, she was smiling, and she smiled and told me, you're my favorite teacher. And that really touched me. For me, that was showing her a piece of God without pounding it in her head. And, you mentioned the devil and you Satanist, and,
So what she had really done is she had reacted in a way to shock somebody. She tried to get back at them, and I'm speculating that possibly the only way that she knew how.
The only way that she knew how. She was fighting back. Now we see in today's society where people have access to the internet, and there's easy access to a lot of things, and so we see what's going on: guns in schools, knives in school, people getting stabbed, people getting murdered, people getting harmed. We see it in the colleges because these kids grow up to go to college. And I've counseled with people that have reacted violently. I mean, quiet, everyday people. And I tell people all the time, you never know who you're dealing with. In Waycross, there was this one great guy, father of 2 daughters, but he had bully issues, and somebody had road rage and had shot him the bird. He was on a bridge and tried to ram his car into that truck to drive him off the bridge. So here he is talking with me. And so it's very prominent, and it starts in elementary schools, and a lot of times on the other end, parents blow off the child that is doing the bullying. But I was bullied as a child, and when I called home, I was told just last week, all of them are in prison for life, or they're dead. Now, some people grow out of it. You know, you see TV shows where this person was a bully and they grew up and they matured. But what I'm saying is that there's enough of them unchecked and unparented.
The individual that corrects themselves is that's generally not the norm.
It's not the norm.
Generally
No.
end up going down the bad road, which
Exactly.
equates to possibly jail and or death.
Yes.
Premature death. Well,
Yes.
we're talking about peer pressure and bullying. We got it in my notes here that loneliness is probably one
Yes.
of those things that really falls into that.
Yes.
What can we do now? We've talked a little bit about, as an example, we see these things. What can we do to help people, young people particularly, and adults? Because if
Right.
they had this in a childhood, they're most likely carrying that luggage around with them as adults as
Right.
well. What can we do to help them overcome that, to have a triumph in their life, or successfully deal with life without being a bully or accepting that peer pressure?
I'll say, as far as being positive with them, treating them as they are, that they are an individual, empathizing with them. No, we're not condoning somebody lashing out, but what are the reasons that they are lashing out? I was looking up, and I just recently saw this in in Psalm 68:6, where it talks about as far as how God sets the lonely in families. He leads forth the prisoners with singing, and in